Hello and welcome to my talk on the Winter Spine Race, 268 miles, which I did in January. Now, if the race wasn't long enough, the path to get there lasts for 10 years. Back when I did my first marathon, little did I know where it would lead. I began jogging to the station, mostly to not miss my train, and I'd done the odd park run. But that was it when my dad announced he was entering the Bournemouth Marathon, so I thought I'd give it a go too. I trained just by gradually extending the station I ran to, working up to running the full 23-mile route to the office. On a few occasions only, not much work was done those days. Anyway, the day of the marathon came, and as you can see by my posture on the right, by the end of it I was really struggling. So much so that it put me off running for a while. I went back to my jogs to the station and thought, well, I've done a marathon now. Everyone knows that's the furthest distance it's possible to run. No need to do anything more in that area. Until a few years later, on the many occasions of the trains playing up, I ran to the next station hoping that the train there would be working, and it wasn't, so I went to the next one. And I ended up doing 10 miles or so and really enjoying it. So it got me thinking maybe the problem with the marathon was that it wasn't far enough. And here's the data showing how it basically has just got completely out of hand since then. I trained for that first 100, the Robin Hood 100 in 2018, on my own ad hoc way. Didn't really know what I was doing. I just did a long run at least once a month in 2018, and I increased the maximum distance of those runs by 10 miles or so per month until I'd done 66 miles. My thinking was that I could then struggle on race day. I could do that and then just struggle the extra 50% to make it the 100 miles, which is what I did. But most importantly, I loved the race. Unlike road marathons where everyone is focused on glugging gels and getting a PB and not chatting, for trail races and particularly ultras, everyone is just out for a nice time, a nice day out in pretty surroundings. There's lots of chatting and you get to eat lots of sweets and cake. So I got into races, and pretty much since that first 100 miler in 2018, well, once my ankles had deflated to normal size again, I've done a race a month on average. They're shown here on this graph by 3 vertical dots for each race. So there's 1 dot for distance, 1 for the duration time, and then 1 for the total ascent. Those are 3 key metrics you can sort of judge or categorize each race on. And you can see there's a definite trend here. It doesn't take the brainiest to quants to see that generally I've been going further, longer and higher as time has gone. Culminating with the top one and top right, which I'm going to talk about today, the Spine Race. So here's the route of the Spine Race. It follows the Pennine Way, which is called the backbone of England, hence the name of the race. The race has 5 main checkpoints, there's cut-off times for each, and there's an overall time limit of 168 hours or 7 full days for the race. It starts at 8 AM on Sunday. At each checkpoint, you've then got an 8-hour max stay, and there's space for sleeping, there's hot food, there's access to your drop bag. You get a drop bag which has a 20-kilo limit. That seems loads until you actually think how much clothes and food and spare equipment you need to take for that duration, and all the possible weather you could experience in that time, how cold it could be and how wet it could be, mostly important. So it turns out actually, it's quite hard to fit everything in that 20 kilos. I couldn't take as many spare shoes as I wanted to, for example. And then there's also official minor monitoring points where you can stay for up to half an hour and refill your water, get some snacks. The race rules are that outside support is not allowed unless equally available to all runners. So you can go into shops, even pubs along the way, you can buy stuff because everyone can, but your mum can't bring you a cup of tea unless she wants to make tea for everyone. And actually some people do. People open up barns, its own official support points. Mountain rescue teams have a close association with the race. They run some. The triathlon club that runs one. There's a guy that just goes to a bothy and cooks noodles for everyone. It's great. So it's probably no more than 20 miles between each some form of support point. It's just those 5 main ones where you can sleep and get your drop bag. So that breaks the race down to 6 stages, which is important because that's how I thought of it. So the route's nearly all off-road. It starts in the Peak District, then it goes up the Pennine Ridge through the Yorkshire Dales, up into Northumberland and across the Cheviots, and ends in the Scottish borders. It's 268 miles long, 10,000 metres of ascent. The highest point on it is Crossfell, 893 metres, which is pretty high for an English mountain. And those first 2 checkpoints, that's about 108 miles in total, that's also ran as a separate race called the Spine Challenger South, or then the Baby Spine, rather humorously, given that on its own it's in no way a baby race. And I did that in January 2022, and that's an excellent way to know what to expect from the main race, but it's also bad because it took me 44 hours to do it, and I was so destroyed when I did it. I couldn't have done an extra step. How could I contemplate doing 2.5 times that? So that was very much on my mind while doing the race, especially when I got to that 108 mile distance. So another big aspect of the race is kit. The kit requirements, they're big. The ethos is that it's like an expedition, so you need to take everything you can to be entirely self-sufficient between the checkpoints in what could be the worst possible weather we get in England. So you need full sleeping and cooking equipment too. There's 31 items, and each of those, some break down into sub-items. They've got very specific criteria. The spork is now going to have a minimum length because people have trimmed down their spork to save weight. So yeah, a lot of the year before is spent buying kit and discussing kit, etc. So laid out there on the left is everything I needed to meet the requirements, and you had to wear and carry that at all times. And that's just the minimum. I took extra clothing, food and tech beyond that. So it weighed 10 kilos all the time. I didn't weigh it because that'd be depressing, but probably around 10 kilos with including the water. And as you can see in the race photo there, that's a big pack. To practice, I wore a weight vest around the house, which also weighed 10 kilos, to the extent that helped to get used to it. Then food is the other big thing. Garmin reckons I burned 40,000 calories over the race. It's a nice round number, so let's go with that. And you can't eat that much during it. The body can only absorb around 250 calories an hour in new food. So the rest comes from burning fat. So you've got to try and maximise anyway that 250 calories. You've got to make the most of it. So you're constantly eating and calorie dense food, but even more importantly, things that you can still stomach over 100 plus hours. You can't just eat macadamia nuts. Nutrition is really personal, but my strategy was, if you recall, we've got 6 stages, so 6 rows on the left there, one for each stage, which I'd carry with me. So 2 to 3 baggies of pick and mix. That's great fun to make. You see in the top right, I just got a tub, filled it with all the sort of delicious pick and mix I like, and then put that into little baggies. And that's great to start with. The race starts and you've just got infinite pick and mix to eat. In fact, you're trying to encourage yourself to. It's heaven, and then it very quickly gets pretty horrible. It's torture by the end. So then I balance that out with 2 to 3 baggies of savoury stuff like crisps and nuts, and then 2 to 3 bags. Each one's got 5 protein or cereal bars in, or Snickers. I try to avoid the really really sugary breakfast bars or cereal bars. Because they're too sugary and mess your mouth up. And then bottom right, per stage, around 10 miniature cheeses, sort of Baby Bells or cheddars. And then, as I said before, you can go into shops, you can buy anything at pubs. The aid station's got lots of hot food, but obviously you've got to be able to move after you still eat it. So that limits somewhat how much I eat, but there's an impressive amount of lasagna that people eat at some of the checkpoints. Okay, so that's enough background. Here's a video of the race itself, and then I'll join you afterwards to talk about how it went.
I was going to say, I saw the checkpoint here with definitely the...
And make sure that what you're giving out...
So 164 runners gathering, all registered, kit check the day before, waiting for 8 AM, ready to start.
Here we go! 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Strange to feel so heroic, and we've only done 100 metres. Suddenly the enormity of the challenge ahead hits.
That's what the goggles are for. like,
General confusion,
sneaking the arm
a
down.
sudden pointless sprinting, running to warm up and also get the gate. It's fun descent, but it's surprisingly tricky with a heavy pack and camera stick.
woohoo!
The majority of the running in the entire race is done here. It's a lovely, long, easy downhill section.
Hopefully we videoed one of the guys sprinting down.
I did not, but they were annoyingly fast.
Wow, in the sun again. Clouds coming in though, a bit of mist.
Always look on the dark side.
Yeah, but light and lovely weather, clear. So, but warm enough.
No, the hat is off, must be warm.
He must be over halfway probably. Like Nicky's burger van, of course.
Yeah, an institution of the route, now upgraded from van to shipping container. 6 minutes per kilometre, a never to be repeated pace.
So will she be watching your dock to get it ready, or?
Here we are at checkpoint. Each checkpoint are replaced liner toe socks, thin waterproof socks and outer thick waterproof socks. May not look that tasty now, but oh, it was.
Got some chicken and rice, it's very tasty. And it's very warm in here. It's going to be hard to get going.
I got going after 90 minutes to change my socks, eat some food.
Good morning. Yeah, it's been a hard night, it's very sleepy, a bit cold. But yeah, hopefully I'm going to come alive again now.
It's Gargrave. There's a co-op where I bought a pasty and cream cakes and scoffed them in a bus stop. We're approaching Mollum Cove.
This is nice, isn't it? Yes, I think it's even nicer weather than yesterday, which is saying something. I mean, I'm feeling a lot warmer, so it's probably not hotter, just I've got loads more layers on.
By the end of the race, I'm wearing 7 layers on my torso.
It's very windy. It's sunny, it's nice, it's just very windy.
Oh, goggles are on, essential for protecting eyes against so much cold wind over the duration. I should have worn them sooner or more, but they're incredibly uncomfortable.
Hello, right, it's morning. Last night was so hard. So I ended up getting in at about just before 10, around 10 o'clock. And my shoulders were in agony in the bag. And I'd sort of gone. My eyes were hurting as well because I hadn't really used the goggles enough, so it's a bit hard to see. Anyway, I was just totally fatigued. It was a real struggle to get there, but anyway, I finished and then had a sleep. Still didn't feel, it was really hard to then get going after sleep. I had like 2 hours sleep, and I was at the checkpoint for about 5 hours in total. Just a load of faffing, eating food. But yeah, once I got up and got going, I felt a lot better. Eyes started working again. Currently, my shoulders aren't hurting, but that could change. There's lots of slippy bits. I fell over a few times, which is very annoying, so I'm just going very slowly. But Yeah, so far it's good. And this is the important one, you know. I finished today and I'm halfway. So yeah, we'll get the stay done. Oh dear, look, red sky at morning. Shepherd's warning, innit? Ooh. There we go. I think this might be the highest pub in the country. I don't know. Anyway.
It is. The world famous Tan Hill Inn is Britain's highest public house at 528 metres.
Yeah.
There was a mini checkpoint where I got soup and bread.
It's quite nice. Or yeah, it's great. I love a winter wonderland. It's not too slippy really because it's quite flat. So yeah, I was even doing a little jog. Yeah, doing well. So but I'll try not to sleep for as long, less than 24 hours per section. So yeah, feeling a lot more hopeful. I don't have any footage of me last night, although all the bad thoughts were internalised.
I tend to only video when feeling happy enough to do so, and of course just during the day.
Some more winter wonderland.
Luckily, far more gates than styles on the route. The race was paused for safety when I arrived at checkpoint 3, but it resumed while I slept.
So I'm at checkpoint 3. I had a sleep and was woken up by a fire alarm just above my head. It's horrendous. There is a diversion, so which I'm loving the sound of. So yeah, getting ready to go.
Morning. And the selfie stick arm seems to actually be frozen as far as it will extend.
And water bladder pipe and even chest bottles frozen.
Very cold. I used my yak packs for the first time. They're very good, but one is now broken, so that's making things a bit slow. And we've got a very big up, and they were talking about us going up only in 3s, so we'll have to see what happens when we get there. That's the mountain we're going up next. There we go. That's good, isn't it? Oh, look at that. Look at this. Just look at it. It's going to be like Britain's most beautiful race, not Britain's most brutal now. Like it's challenging, but it's every day it's just been more beautiful than the last.
Waterproof light boots were a good choice. I had backup shoes, but I didn't change into them.
The snow up here is incredible. It's so windswept. It's like sculptural. And then I've never seen something like this in the UK. It did rain yesterday, like. This isn't what the entirety of the race has been like. It got quite wet yesterday. Not today.
Sudden urge to do some Matrix style camera trick. That's Great Dunfell radar station. Rossbell is the bigger summit here that we went over. It looks mild, but all this snow fell overnight. It was really bad conditions for those fasters that are going through it. Very strange being back in civilization again.
So we're looking for a post office.
I bought and ate an entire Jamaican ginger cake dipped in an entire tub of yogurt.
Coming towards the end of day 4. Yeah, it's very remote, proper England.
Oldie rural England, not like Nigel
There's
Farage.
an old abandoned farm we went to as well.
I seem to have forgotten it's a race and I'm just enjoying a wander now.
Just missed them. There's a murmuration of birds.
Why can I remember the word murmuration, but my only superlative is quite?
I'm falling asleep on my feet though. Yeah, I just need the sun to come up really.
The 16 hours of darkness a day during the race is a big challenge.
Good morning. from Hadrian's Wall. It's Hadrian's Wall. It's not quite as tall as I thought it would be. It's like the Great Wall of China if it's like a long way in the distance, so it looks small. So anyway, yeah, I was totally falling asleep just then. So I'm quite horrendous.
Turns out the Roman Hadrian's Wall was both earthworks, ditches and mounds, and also the stone. But the stone was robbed to build stuff with, so the wall I'm seeing and I'm fairly judging is a much lower modern replacement. This trio, Matt, Kendra and Sophie, stuck together for most of it, and I did about half this section with them. I already knew Sophie from Northern Traverse, and we're both doing Crossing Switzerland this year.
Morning, welcome to the last day. Last day, stage 6. The Cheviots were going on top, but very sleepy. I've been falling asleep sort of on my feet, daydreaming, and I'm hoping, as soon as it gets more light, that'll really help. Yeah, my eyes are playing tricks on me lots. Wow, look at that sunrise. I might have to take my goggles off. I think my eyes are in quite a good way, so even if it's okay. The goggles are just so annoying. Can't believe how nice that sky is. It might be the nicest sky we've had all week. I don't know, there's been some other very nice ones. Yeah, so just had a hot chocolate hut there. Yeah, just got up and down a few times. So yeah, got 15k to the next hut, and 11k to the finish. Sounds so weird to say that. Bye-bye.
This last section is very exposed and a good few people fail here.
Yeah, maybe that's Scotland down there. It's the final. So coming towards the end of Pennine Way, 2 miles, and this is a lovely collection of someone's waste.
Me judging a farmer's precious junk collection.
You're doing great, Mike. You're getting there. Thank you.
People did not believe I had seen this man until it was corroborated. I don't think I really believed you as real either. This is the town we finished. Kirk's yet home. Look at the goats and the tiny horsies. It's so cute. I'd love to cuddle them. I really can't wait just to cuddle some animals, Yeah, it's a big part of how good the race is, how much love there is for it. A lot of factors, location, time of year, and people is why it gets so much love. I think maybe isolation has been a big part of this. Thinking about how I'm enjoying the world, which I mean, turn my phone off. But yeah. So I just realised I don't really know about what walls to kiss. I suppose I kissed the wrong wall. And are you meant to use tongue? How does that work? Hopefully someone will guide me. Thank you. It's still. Yeah. was a real anticlimax to finish. It felt like just another checkpoint. I expected someone to refill my water bottle so I could keep going. Then I had a beer and a bath and relaxed. So how did I get on? Pretty good. As you can see from the stats here, just finishing puts you in like the top half of starters. And yeah, I was very pleased with my placing and time. 126 hours, but yeah, that's a good result. I'm very pleased. But the winner set a new course record at just under 73 hours. The ratio is actually quite similar for pretty much all the races. I've done all distances from like 5k, marathon, up to stuff like this. Like I'm generally 1.5 times as long as the fastest people. And here you can see the decline over that start off. This is right near the start of the race, that picture of me. I'm so cheerful and healthy looking. And then by the end, what's happened to my face there on the right? You can see just over my nose bridge, there's marks. They were like proper sores caused by the goggles, ended up like, scabbing over. And I also got a bad case of spine nose, where you constantly, your nose is running and cold and for the whole time. Coming up, still got lots more things to come. I just try to do one thing a month, which could be as little as a half marathon. I did that last month, the Crystal Paris Half. That's great. But then yeah, just one thing a month, and that way I find I don't need to do any running otherwise, besides like the odd park run. I cycle daily to work and out and about in London, and I do 2 to 3 Barry's boot camp HIIT classes a week just to maintain fitness. Prior to 2022, I only did running, didn't do all this other stuff. That was just run, and that was my transport. Didn't do any strength or cross training. That was a bad idea. I did like 5,000 plus kilometers a year, but I was constantly in pain with some sort of injury. And everyone knows like strength and conditioning is important, but that's a real problem. I have to learn things like the hard way. And I did when I got a slip disc in my back. So I came up with a new regime of only running in races. Again, park runs, etc. And that's worked much better for me and takes up a lot less time as well. So there. And then a couple of weeks' time, I've got Thames Ring 250 miles. That's going to be tough because it's entirely flat. It's the Thames Path, it's some canals. So that's the challenge. I need to pace myself because I won't have hills or bad terrain to decide when to walk. And it's going to be like really repetitive. Like I love a couple of miles of a canal, and beyond that it gets so samey. So what's it going to be like doing that much? That's the challenge. And then in July, a very different challenge, crossing Switzerland, which, as the name suggests, is 390 kilometers across the whole country. And like most scary of all, 24,000 meters of ascent, which is a lot. I can't quite comprehend it. I've got a book on the route. I haven't really read the book yet, but I feel that's the first step in training. So yeah, there we go. Join me later for more videos. Like and subscribe.